I'm Klaus from Bitwig, one of the developers there, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the product. Okay, what we have here is we have a DAW, which you can use both as a normal linear sequencer. Hide this here. Whoop. Or you can use it together with the clip launcher in real time. And it's a very strong DAW with a lot of editing features. For example, you can edit here in context multiple tracks. I can see here notes applied in the background. If I create more note tracks, they will also appear here. There we go. So I have a lot of power to edit things together. A very new feature about Bitwig Studio is the per note automations. Here you go. You can see here on this pad sound, which I now will play. The pitch is actually being played differently here per note.
So it's per note automation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you also have other parameters like panning or timbre, which is up to each device preset what it's actually doing with it.
Okay.
So you can configure the instrument to do different things with the timbre parameter. For example, here in this piece, if I go with timbre, I can now select the same sound and map it with our modulation system to, okay, let's do oscillator FM, the filter. And that's per voice. So you have a lot of ways to tweak the sound and do very nice micro editing. We're very fond of doing micro editing and doing small edits and making sure that's easy and fun. Because something like this is normally very complicated because you need to duplicate the track with the instrument on it so that you can automate them separately, but that's not really fun. So as a user you probably just wouldn't do it. If you want a chord where the notes pan differently, you would either find a way to do it on the synthesizer or you just wouldn't do it. So we want to make a lot of this editing easier. Another very cool feature that's new in the latest beta is the modulation system. We have a freely assignable modulation system where you just select the source and you turn the parameters you want to modulate. Okay, the sync was already on here. And you can actually consider it this way that, okay, I can see it as morphing. I just leave it as its maximum position. And then I turn the knobs however I want them to be. I can just go between these extremes, just like that. And you can do the same thing with the macro controls. Just turning up something here. And we'll be there on the panel. And the modulation, you can apply any number of modulations to each parameter.
Okay.
So you can modulate both with this one and the macro, that's no problem. However, this is not just limited to inside the device. You can even take a device afterwards. I take this comp filter here. I will apply this as well to the modulation wheel. So you have a lot of sound design capabilities here, built in a really kind of simple package.
Okay. Here's the sound that we are hearing. Is that an internal plugin from Bitwig, or is
yes, this is internal.
Yeah. Okay. And how does it work with external VSTs and so on?
You can drag in a VST. Show up like this. You can open the panel and select the sound. the cool thing is that here you can search parameters if you want to automate them, so it's kind of easy to find something. I want a cutoff parameter, for example, I just type it in and get a filter list. Another cool thing is that if the plugin crashes, I can now simulate this. I think this is the one, I'll just try it. By killing the process. And you see, okay, plugin crashed.
Okay.
But audio is still running.
Yeah, okay.
We're good to go. You can reload it, and it's there again.
And this micro editing is also working with external VSTs. It's not only for your...
Partly.
Yeah.
Because we do send it out as sys6 spec that's in the general MIDI 2 specifications, but at the moment there's probably very few VSTs that support it.
Okay.
But it's something that they potentially could do. So, quite relatively easy.
Alright.
So, let me show you a little bit how the audio editing works. Here you can see there's like an audio loop. It's not doing anything special, but at the end it's a transpose curve. But inside an audio clip, it's actually not limited to being just one audio event, which a normal sequencer does, but it's actually a clip of multiple events. More like a note clip is a sequence of notes. The audio clip is also a sequence of audio events.
Yeah.
So in this variation, the clip has been cut up and transposed differently.
Okay.
Like that, for example. And you can even do things like sequencing drum samples this way or whatever you want to do. So it's very powerful to work this way. And you also have built-in warping right in place here. You can stretch it. You want to do it like this. All the normal stuff. Do panning, the volume. The volume is kind of neat because you actually see what is going on as you do it. So if you have a recording and you say, okay, this passage is too loud, you can actually correct it at just that point graphically.
Okay.
What else should we show? Should I show some step sequencing or something?
Okay, okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can mount scenes like in Ableton or...
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you have okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't sound good though because it's not prepared that way.
Yeah. And I have read somewhere that you have some sort of hybrid form of clips which is between MIDI clip and audio clip, and it's
Now the clips are always audio or note, but on the track you can have both types and mix them.
Oh, okay, on the tracks. Okay.
Yeah, but I can't show it yet because it's not ready yet.
Okay.
Or you can just have them, but it doesn't. It's missing one feature, so it's not complete. But anyway, yeah, I showed you the layered editing, right? Or did I do that? You can also edit audio as layers.
Is it possible to have a frequency spectrum on the like
a spectrum analyzer?
Yes, on the plug itself. Like on the dynamics processing, you have the.
Well, that one won't have a spectrum, but you mean on the EQ?
Yeah.
No, we don't have it yet.
Okay.
But we might do one. Who knows? But there's a lot of things to do first.
Yeah, of course, but
okay, let me show you something else. I can show you how the controller integration is. That's prepared. We also have an open JavaScript API for controllers, and through this we integrated quite a few different controllers and done like good reference implementation. And here's on the panorama, you have different modes. You have first the mixer mode where you have access to the mixer and can mix it here. You see on the screen what's going on. And you can also use your map parameters, and when you do, you actually see what it's mapped on the screen. So you have 5 different pages of mapping that you can freely assign. And if I here learn a parameter, as I'm doing it, come on, actually see it appearing here and how it's mapped. So it's really easy to actually remember what you did. Because a big problem with controllers is that what did I do last time? You know, it's very cryptic. You have 8 knobs, but you don't know what they're doing. Especially if it's automatically mapped. Because then it's very hard to know what's going on. However, we solved that problem quite nicely. We have here on the instrument mode is first the front page, and here you can select different presets. You can even choose categories. Okay, I want a monosynth sound here. Go for it. Okay, it's too narrow. But anyway, I go back to bass sound because I want one with a macro on it, and you see that per sound there are also pre-assigned macros. It's a very nice page where you just go through patches and modify them in preset ways. However, if you want to go deeper, we'll assign a lot of common parameters here that you can use on normally envelopes in this view. If it's an organ, we would use this one for the drawbars, for example. But the fun also goes on here, on this side. You can enter an edit mode, and in this one, you can actually access different parameters of the panel. Okay. So as you see here, it's actually lit up in the GUI. That there are different colors there. So if I change page here, it actually follows. So you see what you're editing on the screen. You can even follow the color coding. So I know, I want to turn frequency. It's the red one. Okay, turn it. Nice. Cool. So a lot of this confusion that you normally have with controls, we want to get rid of them. You can then shift and make it fine adjustment. However, what's get really cool is that I can even say, okay, I want one of the modulation sources because I've mapped them here as well. Just like I showed you before with the modulation, you can just press L41 here, apply it to the filter. Okay, I need to do one thing first. Increase the amount. There you go. There we go. So now map it to the filter. So I'm essentially doing the same thing we did before in the GUI, but from the controller. So I just do it like this, press whatever source I have. Okay, in this video I have to check what is it doing. I just see in the display, note velocity, no, not that, modulation wheel, filter envelope. No, okay, let's do mod wheel. Okay, interesting, but I want some oscillator FM when I'm doing this. So you can do this kind of modulation you did before this way as well.
Yeah, cool.
And the concept we have of device nesting, that you can put devices inside other devices, is really interesting, because one classic example is that you have a delay. Let's make it a bit louder. All right. I can now put in whatever I want in the feedback loop of the delay. So I can say, I can put in a frequency shifter. And you hear each repetition and you get the effect applied more and more. So we have a lot of interesting ways of combining multiple devices. And you see here on the coloring scheme which level of nesting you're at. So blue means you're inside one, green means you're inside 2 devices on top. So it's like multi-dimensional. And
yeah, do you have something like audio to MIDI conversion? Or?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No, sorry.
Do you think to put it on? Or?
Well, no, not for version 1 we're not going to have something like that.
What?
So, not for version 1 we're not going to
Okay.
have something.
Okay. Cool.
Alright.
I see you have 2 displays, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Is it, can you set up it free? Can you put what you want on each display, or is it
No, we have
fixed?
2 different profiles
Yes.
that you can select the way they work. But of course you have quite a lot of capabilities on how you set them up. You can here go between the mixer and arranger, but you can also see the mixer down here if you want. And you have all the editors. We also have another one where you actually have 2 different screens. One is the arranger and one is the mixer, and you can then configure which panel is on which.
Okay.
So you have quite a lot of freedom anyway, but it's
Yeah, okay.
it's fixed, but it's done quite flexibly, so you can set it up the way you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see we have a step sequencer going there on the launch pad.
One last question. How it is now with 64-bit? Do you have 64-bit ability, or?
Yeah, we're running 64-bit. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can load 64 and 32-bit plugins both. So.
Okay.
VST 2.4.
What?
VST 2.4 plugins.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.